Now, each of you have an assignment. You come in, you get on the internet, you find a newspaper, and you read some stories, right? But what gets your attention? What draws you to those stories? You go to CNN, and there's 3 or 4 stories listed. Why do you pick one in particular? A title. It can be a photograph also. It can be a photograph, it can be a graphic, it can be a title, but there's something that gets your attention. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Each story has a headline associated with it. It lets you know what's coming up. It's always at the beginning of the story. If you'll notice, there's the story, it's above the story. Sometimes it can be on the side, but most of the time your headline is above your story. Now this is an example. This is just a stock example that I got off the internet. Where's the title on it? At the top, there's actually 2 titles. And they basically say the same thing, web design. They don't really tell you a whole lot. Most of your stories will give you a little bit more information than that. But basically, the title of the story has to get your attention, make you want to read the story, and also it's going to hit on the major points of the story. But your first rule, you can write this down. You read the story that you've been given to write a headline for. You write a sentence summarizing the main points of the story, and then you take out the articles a, an, and the. So write it down. And here's your example. The New Caney Eagles defeated the Porter Spartans in football. This is what you just summarizing it. You've written a sentence summarizing what the article was about. And you take out the these. There are no a or ands. So this is how it should read. New Caney Eagles defeated Porter Spartans in football. You take out the a, an, and the articles. Everybody understand it? Raise your hand if you understand. Raise your hand.
You can't do that.
Okay? I haven't gotten to the other rules. Okay? Okay, everybody understands. This is rule 2. Write it down. Use a comma in place of and. Okay, here's the example. New Caney and Porter will meet in football. So you just take out and you have New Caney, comma, Porter will meet in football. So rule 2 is take out the and use a comma in place of it. Does everybody understand that? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. You understand? Somebody? Okay. Rule 3. Avoid past tense. So it's not Eagles won, but it's Eagles win. Here is your example. It would not be New Caney Eagles defeated the Porter Spartans in football. It would be New Caney Eagles defeat Porter Spartans in football. Does someone not understand? Everyone raise your hand that understands. Raise your finger. We got one guy that does not understand. So what is your question?
Okay, what if they only did it once though? Like if you say New Caney Eagles win, that means
Gavin.
We have some people that can explain it. Go ahead and explain it.
When you're doing that, it's typically ran every week. So you would say lose against if they normally lose and defeat.
What if they lose?
It runs every week. It's not a continuous thing. That doesn't just print once.
This is the last one.
Oh, that's so much.
In your last box, just write small. Keep within count, which involves letters and spaces. So you're going to count every letter and every space in your headline. Because web pages and newspapers, they only have a certain amount of space, right? So when the editor gives you a story and says write a headline for it, he says this is how much space you have. So write it within a certain count. Let's say this headline, we can go back, this headline is supposed to be within a count of 10 to 18 letters and spaces. Count the letters and spaces. Tell me if it's within 10 to 18. No. What's wrong with it?
It's only 6.
Yeah, it goes over. There's too many, so you would have to cut this down.
Yeah.
Okay, does everybody understand this? Raise your hand if you do. All right, thank you. We're going to do a little practice, make sure everybody understands. Correct this headline. What's wrong with it? Just look at it for a second. It's got an and in it, so it should be replaced with a comma. And it's also written in past tense, so it could be written better. Change to Mark, comma, Joe not prepared. Not the greatest headline in the world, but it would be acceptable by UIL standards. Okay, is this within count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it's within count. Everybody sees that? Within 12 to 25. If you compete at UIL, just remember, if you go over, you don't get any points for that particular headline. Used to be you could go under, but now you can't. I don't know if you knew that. You can't go under or over. It's got to be exactly within count, or you don't get any points for that headline if you go to UIL. Okay, what's wrong with this one? Right, it has an A in it, so you have to take out that article. You probably say, yeah, New Caney is a great place. Remember, we're dealing with one-line headlines where you have one sentence spread out over one line. You can have a two-line headline, which is one sentence spread out over 2 lines. And remember the rules? You summarize your story in a sentence, take out the articles A and the, replace the ands with a comma, and remember, don't write past tense. And remember to keep your headlines within count.